Hi guys, welcome back to a new video. Today I'm going to introduce you to a very cool vehicle, namely the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. The last of its kind, so to speak. That was the last Mercedes he still drove. Now next year or now this year, the following year he started for Ferrari. This marks the end of an era. He has won so many world titles with Mercedes, 6 in total. To be precise, 7 if you add McLaren Mercedes from its first world title. Then he has won all 7 world championship titles. In any case, you can capture it in a Mercedes engine, one with a Mercedes engine. And that's right, here we have the last one. But he didn't become world champion with that either. He wasn't so good in this season. I think he only finished 7th in the season. Actually with the Mercedes. George Russell, his teammate, was even before him. And I think that was also one of the reasons why he then perhaps transferred to Ferrari. George Russell, as I said, was 6th in the season. Lewis Hamilton only 7th. Which, of course, is far too little for a 7-time world champion. Max Verstappen became world champion this year. And now I'll show you his last Mercedes from this year. From the 2024 F1 Racing Series. From the Hot Wheels Series from 2025. As I said, these vehicles are all from 2025. And now again the Mercedes of Hamilton. I had already shown you George Russell. I had even shown you the George Russell in the Mercedes of 2025. So from next year's Hot Wheels Series. From the Formula 1 Series of 2025. And now here again from Hamilton. As I said, the vehicle is actually identical to the one of George Russell. The only difference, here we have a 44 printed on the back. Everything looks relatively okay. The prints, as I said, still look quite good up close. And Hamilton's individual helmet, the individual helmet we see here again. I actually don't think it's like that now. Yes, it also looks very blurry. I can hardly see anything. Yes, well, you can see the Mercedes logo on the front of the helmet, but nothing else. I try to zoom in really close and also focus, but you can see that it didn't really work out well. The halo, however, looks good if you zoom in a little closer here. As I said, when you zoom in, it always looks a bit blurry. Here with the 44, it all looks quite good, I think. Also here in the front wing looks relatively good up close, if you look a bit closer, as it is with hard tires again this vehicle. I have already noted that the vehicles from the 2026 series somehow all have hard tires. I also find it a bit strange, as I said, I think that the other cars from the year before had different tires. I see that right now, too. I still have Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez here. They definitely had medium tires on them. And as I said, here also with hard tires. I hope that the other cars that will come in 2026 will hopefully have different tires. Not all hard tires. As I said, that was Lewis Hamilton. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to give me a thumbs up and see you next time. Bye.